I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are talking to businessman, entrepreneur, and author Darrell Mccollough about his awesome book, Multiple Streams Mindset. It is a life changer. It is a game changer. Anybody who's in business, and that's everybody, needs to order this book right now. Let's say hello to Darrell. Darrell, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight. I know you're a busy man.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Multiple stream mindset, multiple streams of income is what you're talking about. And I think that's what's needed really in 2022, correct?
I think so. I think at the end of the day, we live in a time where we need to have more than just that one stream of income coming from, the typical employer.
Exactly. And if you have multiple streams of income, you have a little more security in life. You're not dependent on your boss. You're not dependent on a client. You have another client, you have another boss, you have passive income perhaps from real estate, and that's how you create wealth.
I absolutely agree with you, and that's the reason why I wrote the book. I wrote the book so that people could be able to kind of hopefully be inspired by my story of starting out with just that one stream of income and then moving to where I started multiple businesses.
Tell me a little bit about your background. What brought you to the point you're at now? What's your journey been like?
Well, so my journey has been one where I have not had a whole lot of income, and working for multiple places that never really connected me with the future that I wanted. And so it was about me sitting down, writing out some goals, and saying, "Hey, you know what? I want something different." I remember when I wrote out that goal of what I wanted to make per month. And then I looked at where I was working at, what I was doing, and I knew that I needed to change.
Absolutely. I think writing it down is so important. It's kind of like creating a roadmap, and you've got to know where you're going. You need to know how much money you need to make in order to have a comfortable living. That way, it's not just dependent on whatever the boss is going to offer you, right?
Absolutely. I believe that people will only give you the scraps off of their table. And that prompted me to build my own table.
Tell me a little bit about the advice you have for people starting out and people building their careers in multiple streams mindset.
Why settle? We live in America. Why settle? Go after your goals. Don't quit. That you have the ability to go after whatever it is that you want to do. And then even more importantly than that is be creative. Go after your goals in a creative mindset. And I subscribe to this, that you can go ahead and you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but think outside the box.
Absolutely. Think different, as Steve Jobs used to say, and look at the revolution he created, right?
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your website, startasoberliving.com. What's that all about?
Right. So startasoberliving.com is a course that we created to be able to help those with vacant rental properties convert them into sober livings and 10x what they would make traditionally by just renting them out.
So you take these hardcore properties that are basically sitting vacant and you turn them into homes and residences for people who are trying to get clean, basically?
Essentially. And I think it's because of the homeless population that this thing has really taken off, because we're helping people all over California convert their rental properties. Now remember, that could be a duplex, it could be a triplex, it could be a fourplex. It could be an 8-unit apartment complex, or it could just be a single family home, you know. But it's taken off, just to complete my thought, it's taken off because homelessness is such a big deal in America, especially in California. So what's going on is it's a no-brainer because there's so much funding out there with so little properties or sober livings to be able to house people. They need the help. Thus, here comes, that's why we started startasoberliving.com.
Now you can increase the revenue on these properties dramatically, as you say, because of things like Section 8. Is that helpful to offer your property to people who are Section 8 candidates?
Although that's a program, ours is a lot different. So essentially, how we work is we go ahead and we convert these properties, and say it's a 7-bedroom, like the one that, or the first one that I had, right? So I had a 7-bedroom, 2.5 bath home. And what ends up happening is that we were able to get approved for 20 beds. So in a sober living, you get paid per bed, right? And so what ends up happening, we got approved for 20 beds, and we got a contract for $1,700 per bed.
Wow.
And what that looked like, that was $34,000 per month. And it's like it's some number like in the close to 500,000. I want to say like per year, or I know it's at least in the hundreds of thousands per year. So it was a no-brainer. It wasn't like I was like trying to do this at first intentionally. It just kind of happened. I had a heart to be able to help people. I still do. I said, hey, you know what? We can be able to help people by starting a sober living. We went and garnered these contracts, and in the end was this incredible stream of income.
You have people right now thinking about turning unused space in their houses or houses that are completely vacant into Airbnbs or VRBOs, but this is a way of starting up a business and creating sizable income and help people who don't have the roofs over their heads already.
Absolutely. So it's a great program. It works. And the thing about it is it's a viable, real source to traditionally renting out your home. And even doing the Airbnb, it doesn't even compare to that, right? Because you have people with Airbnbs, they're in your home, and then next thing you know, a lot of the times they leave it maybe not in the same condition that they got it. And with us, our sober livings, they're maintained by the people who live in them, right? So that's part of their daily chore, is to make sure that they maintain that property that they're in, because it's just part of what they sign when they are admitted into one of these SLEs, as we call it.
And the money, the compensation you receive, comes from the state directly or from the city? How does that work?
Absolutely. So there's multiple ways of being able to get funding, to get funding for your bed. So it could come from private pay. Those are people who just pay cash, and they come in, that's check, money order, cashier's check, whatever. And then you also have these funding where these funding streams where it could be through the state, it could be through the city, it could be through these different court systems. So it's just a plethora of ways to be able to get funding sources and to get paid for the beds.
It's an amazing strategy. It sounds like a real winner. The name of that website is startasoberliving.com. It's on your screen right now. Let's switch gears a little bit and talk about another hat you wear, and that's advising people when it comes to financial literacy. And I think this is super important because financial literacy really is ignored by schools, but that's our day-to-day life once we get out of school. How do we deal with our financial lives? Tell me a little bit about your financial literacy program.
Sure. So essentially, I started up a financial literacy company that encompassed the idea of budgeting and credit repair. And we've added recently the multiple stream mindset to help develop that, because I live in a city that's economically depressed. It's in California. It's called Stockton, California. Shout out to all my Stocktonians. And essentially what's going on is there are many cities like Stockton that need the help when it comes to, building this economic future where they're not just dealing with scraps. It's really about reviving the hope, the faith associated with the American dream. And I think what that's about, if you ask me what the American dream is about, it's about not necessarily giving that man a fish, but teaching that man how to fish, right? And sometimes you have to give the man some bait to get going. Maybe you got to teach him how to build the apparatus, which is the fishing pole, and maybe you got to teach him how to cast. But overall, what we see is we got a lot more people invested in our communities and that are being able to grow our communities, because let's face it, a city is comprised of its people. When the people grow, the city grows.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Darrell, you're an inspiring man. Darrell
Thank
McCollough,
you.
he's got a book called Multiple Streams Mindset. Definitely order it. Look at his website, startasoberliving.com. And of course, tap his resources when it comes to financial literacy as well. Before we say goodbye, Darrell, anything else you want to add?
Just where they could probably be able to find me. You can go to info@startasoberliving.com. You can be able to go to startasoberliving at gmail.com. And then obviously I am on Facebook. It's you could just Google me, DARRELLMCCOLLOUGH. Or if you want to reach out, you can reach out to me at 209-403-8209 and be able to connect, and we can be able to help you convert your convert your home into a sober living, or we can come out and do a financial workshop in your city all across America.
Amazing, amazing. You're a wonderful resource for the community. You're a wonderful resource for America. Our viewers at home, you've heard the information. Startasoberliving.com is on your screen. You see Darrell McCollough's name there. Reach out to him. If you're looking for some answers, you receive them today, okay? If you want to help other people, if you want to dramatically increase your income, you can do that with startasoberliving.com. Darrell McCollough, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you for having me.
And to the viewers at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.